Good morning, children. Welcome back to the lesson Discovering Tut, the Saga continues, written by A.R. Williams. Dear children, we had two sessions already, and today is the third session. Okay. Uh, Before we start with the third session, let us make an immediate recap or recapitulation of the text. So, I told you it is all about uh, the ancient Egyptian king, a boyish king, Pharaoh, who died at an early stage, and his death became a mystery because nobody knew how he died. Okay. So after 3,300 years, his mummy was taken for a CT scan, or we can say Tut's mummy was the first one to be subjected to CT scan. Okay, and earlier in 1922, Carter, the archaeologist Carter, had the mummy cut into several pieces in order to lift it from the coffin to which it had stuck due to hardened resins. So these are all things that we discussed. The CT scan pictures the mummy, okay, very clearly. So that is what we have to discuss today at detail about the CT scan. And we also discussed about the funerary treasures, okay, and the belief of resurrection. So they kept all the things like the board games, bronze razor, linen undergarments, case of food and wine, and not only that, other things like glittering goods, precious collars, inlaid necklace and bracelets, rings, amulets, ceremonial aprons, sandals, sheaths for his fingers and toes. And these are the things that are kept along with the dead body because they were all fabulously wealthy. The kings were all, that entire dynasty was known for its richness or wealth. Okay. And Howard Carter made many cuts while taking the mummy from the coffin. And a brief history about Tut's grandparents, either parent or father, that is Amenhotep, was a powerful pharaoh who ruled for almost 4 decades. Okay, and he was followed by his son Amenhotep IV, and he too ruled the country for quite some time. And during his time, he changed his name to Akhenaten because he liked Aten, the sun god, and later on he was against Amarna. Okay, Amun. Amun is a god, and he demolished all the temples. Okay, and he became little wacky. Wacky means odd and funny, or we can say almost like mad. And afterwards, what happened? He was followed by that Tutankhaten actually, and he changed his name to Tutankhamun because he liked the god Amun, and he became a living image of Amun, and he restored all those demolished temple. Okay, there we stopped yesterday. Now all of you take page number 26 of your textbook. Okay. Yes. Regardless of his fame and the speculations about his fate, Tut is one mummy among many in Egypt. There are many mummies in Egypt, and Tut is one among them. How many? No one knows. The Egyptian Mummies Project, which began an inventory means a list of things. Okay, so how many mummies are there? They made an inventory in late 2003, has recorded almost 600 so far, and is still counting. And as per that inventory, how many are there? 600 are there, and still the counting was on the go. The next phase, scanning the mummies with a portable CT machine, computed tomography, that is CT. Okay, CT machine donated by the National Geographic Society and Siemens, its manufacturer. King Tut is one of the first mummies be scanned. So you can underline and learn the King Tut's mummy is the first one to be scanned, in death as in life, moving regally ahead of his countrymen. whether in death or in life it is done. A CT machine scanned the mummy's head to toe. Okay, full full body scan, creating 1700 digital X-rays images in cross section. Touch head scanned in 0.62 millimeter slices to register its intricate structures. So there is a video that you can all watch, how they conducted this CT scanning. Okay, there you will find out what is a uh, what is the difference between X-ray and the CT scan. With the touched entire body, similarly recorded, a team of specialists in radiology and forensic scientific thing and anatomy, who studies about the internal organ anatomy, began to probe the secrets that the winged goddesses of a gilded burial shrine protected for so long. Actually, his mummy was protected by the winged goddess. As per their mythology, a winged goddess of a gilded burial shrine protected for so long. Actually, that mummy was protected by the goddess, but now it is taken out for a CT scan. The night of the scan, workman carried Tut from the tomb in his box, like pallbearers. You know, pallbearers, person who carries a coffin at a funeral. Write down. Pallbearers means persons who carry a coffin. Coffin means a box carrying the dead body. Okay, person who carry a coffin at a funeral. So like pallbearers, they climbed a ramp. Okay, ramp means man-made slope. Ramp, in hospital you will find ramp. In your school also there is a ramp for the handicapped. They climbed the ramp and a flight of stairs into the swirling sand outside, then rose on a hydraulic lift into the trailer. That is a vehicle, okay, trailer in which they brought the scanning machine that held the scanner. 20 minutes later, two men emerged, came out, sprinted for an office nearby, and returned with a pair of white plastic fans. The $1 million scanner had quit because of sand in a cooler fan. Actually, the scanner stopped working. The curse of Pharaoh, joked a god nervously, and somebody said it may be the curse of that king. Why that mummy was taken by the scientist or the archaeologist. So that was a curse according to one of the gods, nervously he said. Eventually the substitute fans worked. Finally substitute fans, okay, worked and well enough to finish the procedure. After checking that no data had been lost, the technicians turned that over to the workman, who carried him back to his tomb again. So after this scanning is done and they could find nothing has been lost, all things were there, and finally the mummy was given back to the workmen and they kept him into the tomb once again. Less than 3 hours after he was removed from his coffin, the pharaoh again rested in peace where the funerary priest had laid him so long ago. And the same place that mummy, that was kept back for peace, okay, rested in peace where the funerary priest had laid him so long ago. The same way the body was kept in the coffin and in the tomb. Back in the trailer, in that vehicle, a technician pulled up astonishing images of that on a computer screen, and the image was now taken to the computer screen. A gray head took, these are all there in that video, okay, you can watch it. A gray head took shape from a scattering of pixels. What is pixel? No, any of the small individual areas on a computer screen, because for so many dots are equal to see, actually if it is widened, you can see small dots, pixels. If a camera having more pixels will give more clarity, right, like that. So pixels, we call it pixel. All of you know, nowadays we know how many pixel camera you have, okay. Scattering of pixels, and the technician spun and tilted it in every direction. neck vertebra, the backbone. Okay, the vertebra here stands for the hollow bones which form the spine, the backbone. So neck vertebra, it is all connected, like from the head to the back, I mean up to the waist, it is there, The vertebra appeared as clearly as in an anatomy class, just like children are, those who are learning in medicines, okay, in anatomy class it can be visible. Other images revealed that, you imagine, the body is taken after 3300 years, nothing has happened because of that mummification, right? Other images revealed a hand, several views of the rib cage and the transection of the skull, but for now the pressure was off. Sitting back in the chair, Sahi Hawass, Secretary General Sahi Hawass smiled, visibly relieved that nothing had gone seriously wrong. I didn't sleep last night, not for a second, he said. I was so worried, but now I think I will go and sleep. So, okay, so what happened? Finally, the scanning is over. Sahia was also very happy. Who is Sahia was? Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, and he was very happy because nothing was missing. So you can see the picture of mural in the King Tut's tomb showing King Tut with Osiris, the god of the afterlife. So picture is made like this, right? Mural means wall painting. By the time we left the trailer, the vehicle, descending metal stairs to the sandy ground, the wind had stopped. Say, when the mummy was kept back in the tomb, wind suddenly stopped. The winter air lay cold and still like death itself in this valley of the departed. That valley is meant for the dead souls departed. Just above the entrance to Tut's tomb stood Orion. Orion is the constellation, means collection of all the stars, the constellation that the ancient Egyptian knew as the soul of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, watching over the boy king. So they believed that the god of the afterlife, Osiris, is looking at the boy Pharaoh. Okay, that is the end of the story. So is it clear? So what did you learn from this lesson? It is all about how that mummy was taken for CT scan. Okay, actually Howard Carter tried his best to make a study about it in the year 1922. Now in 2005, the same body was taken for a CT scan, and you have learned that the ancient Egyptian pharaoh, when he died, was given at funeral treasures. Okay, so you have to learn it, which are the funeral treasures, and why a CT scan was made on his body, because to know the pending mystery of his death, and nobody knew how he died, and still debates are going on about the death and excavation and the CT scan, everything. Okay, children, if you just browse in the internet about Tut's detail, you will get to know all those things. Okay, with the picture, with the video presentations. With this, we wind up, and all of you write down the question answers. Right? Questions like, why was Tut's mummy CT scanned and when? Who discovered Tut's tomb? Why was he surprised? What couldn't Carter detach? Also, no, why couldn't Carter detach the mummy from its gold coffin? And how did he manage to separate it? This is third question. Now, who was Sahi Hawass? What did he say on seeing the mummy? What were the things buried along with Tut's mummy? Why did they do so? And who was Amenhotep IV? In what way he initiated a strangest period in the history of ancient Egypt. Who donated the CT scan machine? How was the scanning done? Okay, these are some of the questions that you can answer, uh, and also make use of the NCERT questions and the solutions. With this, we wind up and have a nice day ahead. Thank you, children. Thank you for listening to my lecture.